That's not going to work.
What?
It's not open.
It is. There's nothing. I was in it a second ago. Is it just looking? Oh, it's stuck. Why is it stuck?
Again?
Seriously.
Are you plugged into the bad port?
No, I don't use that anymore. Let's mute this.
Hey!
Hey guys!
So sorry about the technical difficulties.
No idea.
It would be fun without them.
The camera froze on where nobody was in the view. I don't know what happened.
Very odd, but you know.
I thought it was going to be a flawless start, but it makes a more colorful video.
You wanted entertainment. That's what you came for.
Speaking about color, we'll get to that topic later.
We will?
Isn't it one of our movies?
Oh, my word. Okay, so we're starting with... Okay, so this month... So this live is a mix of...
Spooky
movies and strong male leads.
Strong man.
Not strong man. Strong male leads.
Oh.
Okay, so we have kind of a mix this month. You know, this October... These October movies were underwhelming for me.
Really? I thought they were better than last year's. Not that I can recall any of last year's movies.
I remember legit getting scared by the movies last week. And
last
month. Last year.
Last year's.
Dang. Yes,
like
last
which
year's
ones?
movies.
Like
and
Mama?
we watched 31.
We did. Like Mama? Was Mama a scary one?
I guess we're up to 30 after today.
Really?
We're up to 30.
I
So
don't know
we're not far up. I don't know. I guess because there were movies on the list that I really wanted to watch. And the way our schedules panned out this time, I didn't have time. I wanted to watch the second Annabelle.
Oh, yeah. You told me you had some scary ones on there. So you didn't get time to get to them?
No.
Because I was wondering, what are those?
Annabelle Comes Home is one of them I
Okay.
really wanted to watch.
We can still watch it. It could be a strong possessed lead.
No. Maybe later or next year it'll be number one on the list. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it fits into our theme. But
I'll make it fit.
I like the theme and I like trying to stick with the theme because it gets me out of my comfort zone and watching different styles of movies, and I enjoy that really.
That's the beauty of this channel, because you're not always going to hear praise about the movies.
Yeah, we find some pretty awful ones.
Yeah.
I want to say a third of the movie, well, maybe just a fourth of the Halloween movies we watched last year, we gave terrible ratings to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were entertaining, but they weren't good.
Like the Fear Street series.
And Halloween movies. Come on. The Halloween series. Ugh.
Yep.
I mean, who really needs to sit and watch senseless murder?
It's okay if the bad guy dies once. He doesn't have to die 20 times.
Right. They put him in a meat grinder this time, so the dude better be done for.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our first movie, we went way old school. So our 13-year-old, he loves to watch like psychological thriller kind of scary movies. So we thought, why not watch a little more Alfred Hitchcock, right? Because that's his specialty. So we pulled up his most famous movie, Psycho, that has the shower scene, right?
Chocolate syrup.
So,
Chocolate.
Psycho from 1960.
Wow.
It was a black and white, so we watched it in all black and white. But yet you could tell the girls were blonde.
Yes. True. That's about the only color you can tell.
Right. But it was white, not gray. I mean, so what you got to say about Psycho?
I liked it better than The Birds.
Yes.
And I liked the actor that played Norman Bates. I think it's really hard to play off a character when there are multiple personalities involved with that character.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the mother's voice was somebody else, unless that was
I
his
think
voice.
He went like this. I think he made his voice
If that
go
was
high.
it, then that was it. But I think the scene that really got me was the very last scene when they finally put him in the cuckoo nest, and he's having a monologue in his head, and
Crazy.
you could see the crazy in his eyes
I saw the crazy in his eyes from the very beginning of the movie.
and his voice.
When the first girl went to the hotel.
and his voice.
Just when she was just getting out of the car in that rain, you just see that look that he gave, that look of, oh, here we go, I got me a victim.
Time for mother to come out.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, really strange.
So I can see how this became one of Alfred Hitchcock's cornerstone pieces.
Kind of had a twist. It had where you had to really think, what is really going on? Is this mother alive? Is she not? Is she, what is happening? And
There's
then,
definitely more of a story here
Yeah.
compared to The Birds.
yes.
There's some rise and fall of conflict and
Yeah.
resolution at the end.
Yeah, and I will have to admit, you guys, it took me 3 nights to watch it because I was so exhausted every night this week that I watched probably 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And that's all I could handle for the night. Not that the movie was bad. It's just I didn't want to miss any parts of it. And so when I got too sleepy and I started to doze off, I turned it off so that I wouldn't miss.
I think it took one of my movies 2 nights this week also because I fell
Just
asleep.
just a rough week for us.
Falling asleep on the
busy-wise.
couch, crawling back to bed.
Yeah, late nights and early mornings and just crazy. All right, so what would you rate Psycho? I like Alfred Hitchcock. I read Alfred Hitchcock back in college when I took art appreciation. I read his book and then we
that's
watched his
cool.
movies, and so I kind of was able to dig deeper into where his mind was going with these movies. So I think I have a different appreciation of him than the average person does.
I think that's having insight into the writer. It does help shape it changes your perspective on it.
It does.
It's kind of cool. It's the perspective I didn't have because I didn't read it.
He doesn't read
I give it an
anything.
8. I read technical books.
I would give the movie an 8.5. I like it. It's one of my all-time favorite classic horror movies.
Yeah, it's good. A long time ago, my family and I went to Universal Studios when I was a wee little boy.
Wee little.
And Universal Studios amusement park, the point is for them to show you the movie magic, and that's when we learned about several Alfred Hitchcock films, one of them being Psycho and the shower scene, the chocolate syrup, and all that.
So if you're going to compare it to the graphics of now and the dramatization of now, it will not be, you will be underwhelmed.
And you don't have to have that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have.
You have to keep it in the perspective that it was made in 1960.
Yeah.
And the actors are 1960 actors.
And having seen films today and films 80 years ago,
They're just
it does it gives you a greater appreciation for what they were able to do with
before their time.
the resources that they had on hand.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'd rate it an 8.
So another funny thing with this movie is we had a foster cat at the same time who came to us with the name Norman Bates.
Not kidding.
The same time we're working through watching the movie Psycho. So it was kind of ironic and kind of meant to be.
Sweetest cat too. We'll see what it's like
Super
when
cool
if it
cat.
grows up or when it grows up and
We'll probably never see it again.
terrorizes the
But
house.
he was super sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just, yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Putting out
other
this-
personality.
All right, the next few are all you. 'Cause
Really?
I did not watch them. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark from 2019. Gil.
I can't remember how this one appealed to me. Maybe it was just the trailer. Maybe it was the description. Did you already say the rating? Yeah, PG-13. This film takes place, I want to say, in the 60s or 70s. And the focus is on some kids who... there's some conflict with another group of kids. Just kids kids being kids and causing trouble with one another. And they end up in this haunted house. So this is where the scary stuff starts. And it kind of has an Evil Dead feel to it in that they get out this book and they awaken something. And then there is this person, Sarah Bellows, that they slowly learn about, who writes the stories in this book. And these stories come true, and it affects all those that were there, I think, when the book was opened. And so the whole movie... This is almost like Final Destination.
It's almost like bedtime stories that the kids have watched.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And so these stories are getting written by Sarah Bellows, who you don't see until near the end of the film. And they're essentially trying to get away from their imminent, is that the right word? Imminent death. Impending death. And so that's what I liked about this film are the monsters that were brought out in these stories. I think the weirdest one was the Jangly Man, and then there was this other one that looked like a blob of a person, a literal blob of a person, and this kid's untimely death was just kind of getting absorbed into this thing.
Like Bob.
Like Bob. Like Bob from was Alien versus Monsters? Yeah. Except Bob was funny. Aliens. This person was not. Monsters versus Aliens, yeah. So I think it was good storytelling. Good visuals. It was a pretty well produced film. I would rate it 7.5.
Right.
I definitely would recommend it if you like scary stories with horror movies that have some substance to them. It's a good story.
All right, there you have it. That was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark from 2019. All right, the next one, he watched 3 episodes of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Who did...
From 2022, episodes 1, 2, and 4.
Who did Pan's Labyrinth?
Pan.
Pan, huh? No, Pan's Labyrinth. What?
Pan?
Pan. What are you talking about?
That's his name that did it.
Pan. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, look it up.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, it had that monster with the eyeballs on the plate, and then he walked around like this with eyeballs in his palms. It was a creepy movie. And then I think near the beginning of the movie, this guy got his nose bashed in by a soda bottle or a beer bottle of some sorts. So the first episode of Cabinet of Curiosities, I think my initial what drew me in was that Del Toro was behind it. So I thought, oh, this guy makes some really weird stuff, and that is the case with this one. Though it seems to be a collection of movies that were written/directed by other people. So not all of these were by Del Toro. So I watched 1, 2, and 4 because I think I fell asleep all the way through 3, and they just kept auto-playing one after the other.
So 1 was Lot 36.
I watched these over the course of a couple nights. Lot 36. This guy, the focus is on one character pretty much. He is not a garage sale guy, who like the guys that visit the storage units, like the storage war guys. Yeah. And that is what he does. That's how he makes his living. He goes to the store, he buys the storage units and then sell the contents that are in there. And it turns out that he uncovered this one, and then he goes to get some of these items appraised to some folks, and then she says, ooh, I know exactly the person that is interested in these kinds of things. And so this guy comes around and says, ooh, you found this is the pot of gold, and it turns out it's not. It's these 4 books. And so the other night I wanted to talk about these individually because even though it's a series and we've talked about series before, but we usually talk about them collectively, but each one of these episodes is a standalone story, so they can be treated separately. But this is the main character in Lot 36. He played off a really bitter guy pretty well. You could tell he always had a chip on his shoulder, and just treated everybody like trash. He didn't really feel like he was owed anything. I think he just wanted to be left alone. But there is a creature in this one. It is pretty cool, and because the guy is just a stubborn guy and doesn't want to listen to anybody, he gets his just desserts. Anyway, it's a really good movie. It's pretty dark. I like the aesthetic of the whole thing. It's just dark, kind of like the original Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. I would rate it a 7.5.
All right. So then the next episode was episode 2, Graveyard Rats.
So this one was weird too. This guy had the main character in this one. You could tell he was kind of a squirrely little guy, always trying to get himself out of trouble, and he owes a debt to he just owes a debt to this guy, but this guy robs graves. That's where he finds his fortune. He finds his fortune in people's gold teeth and jewelry, and so he does that the first time and brings the loot to the guy that he owes money to, and he says, "Hey, you came up short. You need to bring some more." And he makes up the excuse of the rat problem in the graves. And so he goes back and he visits this body that was just put in there, and he knows that this guy was going to have some very expensive he's going to be adorned with very expensive things, and even a sword that he saw some value in that he was going to try to sell later on. And just as he digs up the casket and is about to open the casket, there's the body getting drug off by the hundreds of rats that have formed this not sewer, this tunnel system underground. It's kind of weird because he goes after the rats that are dragging this body, and so he is crawling in a pretty tight space, thinking this guy is crazy, just to try to find some goods in order to turn it around to owe his debts. And so all in all, he chases the rats to his demise, and it was it was an interesting story, pretty predictable. It was okay. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd probably rate it a 6. But for some reason, it kept my attention the whole time. I don't know.
Okay, so watch episode 1, not 2.
Yeah, so I guess there was a little bit of value, but not that much.
Okay, then episode 4, The Outside.
Was that what it was called? Oh, I guess I didn't realize that was what it was called. Let me see.
Must have made a big impression.
Oh yeah, I think I woke up after episode 3 had got done playing, and then I look up at the TV thinking, what's going on here? And I just noticed that it was just playing some more. This is about a woman who just doesn't seem to be happy with the way that she looks, and she works at a bank and is trying to get the approval of her other female colleagues, who are very much materialistic, I think is probably the best way to say it. Very superficial, because they're always talking about the product that they use. In this case, the product is called Aloe Glow, and it's just this lotion that's supposed to make you look young. And not that this woman that was the main character was old. She was probably in late 20s or early 30s. And she had a husband who was a police officer. Pretty quiet couple, they lived a quiet life. But he loved her and tried to let her know that she was beautiful and that she didn't need to change anything about herself. And he seemed pretty sincere in that, but she just wasn't happy with herself. And so she tried this stuff, this lotion. It was making her really rashy.
That would be a clue to stop using.
Yeah. and then so she did, but then, the commercial popped on TV again with this guy that is made to look perfect, and he kind of reminds me of a Ken, but he's not happy-go-lucky sounding like Ken. Just kind of, he sounds more hypnotic, trying to convince her to buy the lotion and to just put it on. But the commercial, she was interacting with the commercial. This wasn't just something that she was watching anymore. So that was the one creepy part about it. The commercial, she was having a conversation with the guy on the commercial.
Weird.
Yeah. And so she orders it. It is a case. It's about the size of a 24 roll pack of paper towels. 24 equals 43.
Man, how many bottles of this lotion did she buy?
There was a lot. And so she put it on, and she's continuing to get the rash, but the commercial has her convinced that that's part of the healing. And her husband keeps warning her, you got to stop doing this. And then something really weird happens. She puts all the bottles of lotions in the basement because she doesn't want her husband to see. And the next thing you know, the bottles pop open because inside the box they're all sitting upright. And then the pops top open and they start oozing the lotion out. And then it overflows the box.
Of course, it forms a goo person.
Yes, it forms a goo. See? Oops. I just played something. No, it forms this goo person that she is drawn to. And then there's some melding. She hugs and kisses this goo person that's got no face but the figure of a female. And then eventually this goo person goes into the bathtub and just deforms and turns into just this vat of lotion in the bathtub. And she goes into the bath. There's no explicit anything in here. And she goes into the bath and then comes out gooey. But then she notices that she's able to, wipe all this lotion off. And underneath is now this new skin. And she's this new looking person. This is really bizarre movie. I can see how this fit into Del Toro's, collection of in this cabinet of curiosities. There's 8 episodes in this series, and I'm gonna watch the rest of them.
Nice.
But unfortunately, she has this obsession, and then she does away with her husband. So the husband's out of the picture. And now she gets
kills him?
She axes him. And she gets the approval of... and he didn't even know. He was talking to her about something, and she was behind him. But she was wielding an axe, and, man, right to the back. But she was happy because she got the approval of her colleagues, and the colleagues are just all over her because now she's glowing and beautiful.
Oh, literally.
In their eyes now. So really kind of a sad story in that fact that that's all she cared about. Story, good. Production quality, good. I'd probably give it a 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just weird.
So he likes people that become goo people, apparently.
It was weird, but it was a good story.
Okay. So that is all we have for October scary movies. The two that we watched this week that were not scary but strong male leads.
I think that was one of our episodes now that I think about
I know.
it. Oh, it was.
But
Okay.
I watched it.
Oh, okay.
You watched it before.
Okay.
I watched it, so I can give my opinion.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
What? Seriously. We're going to fix this.
Thought you fixed this problem.
Me too.
All right.
Weird.
So,
Okay.
we will bypass this technical errors. So, The Amazing Spider-Man from 2012 was the first one. This one I kind of watched bits and pieces, but I've seen it before, so I feel like I can rate it okay. The kids wanted to watch this. This is on. Lately, they've been on a Spider-Man kick. Going back and watching all the Spider-Man movies.
Lizard Man is the main villain here, right?
Yes. So, yeah, in this one, it has, let's see, who are the names in this one? Yeah, Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, some other big names in here, Martin Sheen, Sally Fields. Sally Fields was the aunt.
Really?
Yeah. And you watched this, and Martin Sheen was the grandpa.
Yeah.
But this is a kind of a different take on Spider-Man than the other Spider-Man. Who was the other guy? The other one that I like.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Those I would have to say are my favorite. I think he's my favorite Spider-Man.
Those were the
Just my personal opinion.
originals when the superhero movie was still kind of new. You know, Iron Man was early 2000s, if not. Yeah, I think it's early 2000s. Iron Man is still my favorite Marvel movie, and this is when the Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and Pirates of the Caribbean movies were taking turns coming out every summer. And so those
Love
were
all of them.
Those were some great
Yes.
summers of movies.
They were. Yeah, I like all the Tobey Maguire ones.
Yeah.
I think I like his charisma.
Yeah, and each one of these guys that portrayed Spider-Man bring their own
Different
own-
personalities and
to the character.
yeah. So Andrew Garfield was good though. I think it was a good one. He's a little more. I want to say he's a little more stuck on himself. Did you sense that in this one? So that kind of irritated me that he was a little more cocky.
He did have some attitude. I think more attitude than Tobey Maguire's
Yes,
Spider-Man.
for sure.
And
Toby did for a little while once the spider bit him and took over and changed his personality. But
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's character, he kind of had an attitude already. He was not very respectful to his aunt and uncle before he became Spider-Man. And I don't know. And it just escalated after. So it's kind of annoying to me.
And then
Yes.
the latest Spider, the guy that played Spider-Man in the No Way Home and the Far From Home movies, he young and immature and kind of a jokester, I guess.
Yeah.
Always had a comeback line to the bad guys.
So in this one, I like Emma Stone, though. I like her character, and I
She
like
play
her
Gwen.
acting.
Played Gwen.
Yeah, so I like Gwen's part in this. I thought it was good. A little bit different how the spider bites him. So the spider doesn't even bite him right away. It just kind of hides in his clothing and bites him later, after the fact. So kind of different because in the Tobey Maguire ones, he's bitten right away
Yeah.
and starts feeling.
So these are both
Strange.
spider bites.
They're both spider bites, but they happen in different timing and different look to the spiders and different
That's funny.
effects by them. And
Because the other Spider-Man, he didn't get bit by a spider. He had to make his web shooters. So completely
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
You're right. All right. So let's see. What else do you want to say about this one?
I thought the lizard guy was a pretty cool villain.
The lizard was a cool addition to it. So basically, his story is it was a scientist who was missing a limb.
And he was trying to solve that problem.
He was trying to regenerate his own limb.
That was his life's work.
And I think that's kind of a cool thing if you can get it to work and it actually be good. But, you know, when you start playing with nature and trying to play God in certain things, it's not going to come out well in most cases. So this is kind of what he learned, that, yeah, these drugs could regenerate a body part, but he didn't care that they had negative effects.
And this happened. You could see the same thing that happened with the Oscorp guy, the Green Goblin. That's his name. And the personality, he tried to create this superhuman creating serum.
Well, same with the Octoman. Made a machine that would.
They get a hold of a little bit of power, and it's just too much.
So you can be a super, super intelligent person, but that doesn't make you a good guy.
Yeah. That doesn't
that
mean
that makes you dangerous.
I'm a bad guy, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad guy. It's from Fix It Felix. Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep. I got it. All right. So,
I'm a bad guy.
Rating this one. I'd probably give this version of Spider-Man a 7 out of 10.
I was going to say 7 out of 10 also.
There you have it. 7 out of 10. So not terrible, but not our favorite version.
Yeah.
But our 13-year-old digs it. So give it a shot, especially if you got a teenager. They might really enjoy it. And then the last one, he did a Tuesday review on not too long ago. I finally got a chance to watch it because it came up on our Daily Wire subscription.
Because this originally came out as a theatrical only release.
And now it is Daily Wire only.
Yeah.
So you can only get it if you subscribe to Daily Wire, which we recommend.
They had a good run in the theater, which is pretty cool. It was their first theatrical release because everything else has only been accessible to subscribers. But they finally created something for the public, and it was a big hit across the nation.
Yeah. And it's rated 6.9 on IMDb, so that's not bad.
That's pretty good for IMDb.
It's pretty good for, yeah.
I'd be curious to see what the audience score is on Rotten Tomatoes.
I was just going to say Rotten Tomatoes. I'm curious to see.
Because I'm sure the Metacritic score is going to be trash, and the audience score is going to be up, which
it's usually
will
the case.
Make you scratch your head.
Right. So, all right, this is I Am Racist from 2024. So this is a Matt Walsh movie. Matt Walsh is... What in the world? Why did it pop up a map? Matt Walsh is, of course, the... Oh, my word. Okay.
We ended up looking at Moana somehow.
Yes, weird. Okay, so Matt Walsh is a commentator, right? So he is a conservative commentator through the Daily Wire, and he goes and investigates and does different investigations into hot topics of the time. So he went into the trans world kind of stuff and
went to all the experts and tried to get some answers.
Yeah. And it was quite interesting to watch and kind of eye-opening.
It's nice to hear what the other side has to say, if anything, because he came to them genuinely searching for questions as himself. Yeah, and so that was the whole thing of the film. He's just getting questions from all the experts.
And in this one, he decides that he can't go as himself because everybody knows him now and they're not going to give him the time of day. So he puts on a man bun wig.
Yeah. And different glasses. And he wrote
But dude, you can tell it's him.
It's like Kent Clark.
Kent Clark,
Kent Clark with the glasses.
Superman is, but when he has different clothes and glasses, all of a sudden he's somebody special.
Or when the Incredibles put on their little black mask, all of a sudden,
you couldn't tell who they were anymore. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. And so the thing that gets me though is he's supporting all of these crazy idealistic causes because he's paying the money to interview them. And they were asking him for astronomical amounts of money to do these interviews.
Tens of thousands in some cases.
One was like $50,000.
Yeah. And so these
why do these people think they're worth that, first of all?
These guys are aware. They participated on their own accord that there's going to be a whole camera crew there, so they know they're going to be filmed, and I think there is no other way to get into these places unless you pay. So that's probably the price that he paid in order to hear what they genuinely think and hear what they stand for.
Which I hate to say was a whole lot of nonsense. A whole lot of nonsense. The one who is this college, I don't even know what she was. She, right? I think it was a she.
She was she was a college student.
But doing, I don't know. Why was she so special then? Why did he?
She had one of the highest price tags, and there was a really controversial case of these students, and it's important to say that they were white and they were in a multicultural center. There was a multicultural center on the college campus that I went to that everybody visited. It didn't matter what color you were, but this girl got offended that they were there, and on his laptop he had the blue striped flag showing that I think that was it, that he supported police. And then so he got harassed by a group of students, even though they were just minding their own business, and so that was a big deal.
So anyway, she was spewing a whole lot of nonsense. Like, the stuff she was saying just didn't make a lick of sense.
And I think that was the most beautiful thing about this film, is that you just get to hear them speak their mind.
They just ramble nonsense.
Yeah, because oftentimes it's in a different environment. You know, these were just Matt Walsh and these people talking, just a one-on-one back and forth, not in any kind of group setting or network news interview or anything like that. So you really get to hear what's in the minds of these folks that are, I believe they're truly keeping racism alive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing. They are the ones harping about everybody being racist are the ones that are pushing the racism.
Yeah. I like how he goes to different places too. And to hear, because he'll say these big words that the race hustlers will use, and they'll say,
race
"What?"
Hustler, I like that.
Yeah, it's a term that's out there now.
Oh, of course it is.
And the biker bar, the guys say,
I love
"What?"
the guys at the biker bar, and I love the guy, the one guy that was by himself that he asked about racism, and the guy's like, or he asked if he thought America was racist, and the guy says no.
This black guy that was a mechanic, right? It was just a mechanic.
He was an awesome guy. He seemed like he would be an awesome guy.
And he just said, "We just need to love each other." It's like, wow, that's a simple
right.
answer.
He says, "I came here because it's better here."
Yeah.
But I don't see that. I don't see racism. And
yeah, I think he even brought up the Bible. He said he kept a copy of the Bible in his car.
I think so many people see what they want to see, and then they play towards that. So they just, I don't know if playing the victim card is the right thing to say, but they turn everything into a problem when it's not really a problem.
Now, here's the crazy one. There was a big issue that was made. This was some kind of a parade, and you had these people wearing the costumes, and this person in costume passed up these two kids.
Oh yeah.
And they were black. Story. It's important to say that, and they claimed the race card, and they made a big deal out of it. That it was racist that they skipped over them.
Yeah, and the mother never knew what the race of
who was in the costume
of the character was.
They
never told him.
Even know, and it's probably never going to come to light because it's going to debunk something probably.
Right.
It's gonna...
So I thought this movie was pretty eye-opening as far as the crazy that's out there.
Now, we've watched a lot of Matt Walsh's content. Is it important to know what he does or who he is to enjoy the film, or was it just purely funny?
If I didn't know his background and know about him, I don't know that I would think it was funny.
Okay, I would like to know what other people thought who don't know who he is. I'd like to hear their thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I've watched so much of Matt Walsh's stuff that I kind of know his. He's
just a troll.
Rhetoric.
He is a troll. He can talk with a serious face and stab you in the side at the same time. But I have sought out other people that have reviewed this movie. Some of them were black folks talking about the movie, and they said, "Yeah, this stuff is ridiculous." So okay, we're not crazy,
right? Right. So, all right. That is the. Oh, we didn't rate it. You rated it before. What did you rate it before?
I can't remember what I'll rate it again. I'll give it 8.5.
I'd probably give it an 8. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good watch. It's eye-opening for sure.
Yeah.
So that is all we have for you this week.
How long did we
Short
go?
and sweet. I don't even know.
There's no
I don't
timer
like
on
this
this thing.
configuration because I can't tell. So, yeah. So that's all we have. Strong male leads is kind of what November is going to be for us. So throw your recommendations for movies with strong male leads. So remember, this could be any genre of movie, and we are all for watching them all. So let us know what your favorite movie is that contains a strong male lead, and we will add it to our list for this month. Hopefully we'll be able to get a few extra movies in this month. There's a holiday in this month, so I'll have some days off work, so I'll be able to stay up a little later some of the nights, not go to bed so early. So yeah, pop some suggestions in the comments of this video, and we will make sure we give them a watch if they're available for us.
Thank you for joining us this week, guys.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you on Tuesday for our movie review, Friday for Friday Faves, and then next Sunday for our live at 9:30.
See you later.
Bye.